Hi! Welcome to Season's Reading Storytelling Time, brought to you by the Phoenix Theater and the Indianapolis Public Library. My name's Arianne Villareal, and today I'm going to be reading one of my favorite stories, Frosty the Snowman. Frosty the Snowman by Diane Muldrow, illustrated by Robin Cuddy and Josie Yee. It all started with the snow. The first snow of the season. As every child knows, there's a certain magic to the first snow. And when it falls on the day before Christmas, something wonderful is bound to happen.
Children, back to your seats, called the teacher. The snow can wait. I've hired Professor Hinkle, the magician, to entertain us for our Christmas party.
Unfortunately, Professor Hinkle was just about the worst magician in the world.
And so I put the eggs into my magic hat, said Professor Hinkle. Abracadabra! And voila! The eggs have turned into a mess. Where's my rabbit? Hocus Pocus, where are you?
He didn't know that his rabbit, Hocus Pocus, was hiding in the hat.
The only thing this hat is good for is the trash can, said Professor Hinkle.
But the hat didn't stay in the trash for long. The hat, with Hocus Pocus underneath, hopped out the door. That was when the bell rang. The children were free for the whole Christmas holiday. Hey, look at the snow, cried the children as they ran outside. They worked together to build the first snowman of the season. Once the children had given him eyes, a nose, and a mouth, it was time to name him.
How about Frosty?
Asked Karen.
Frosty the Snowman.
The children danced around Frosty as they sang about his button nose and his eyes made out of coal.
Come back here, you!
Cried Professor Hinkle, chasing Hocus Pocus. Suddenly, a gust of wind blew the hat onto Frosty's head. Happy birthday, said the snowman. Karen gasped and said,
That hat brought Frosty to life. It must be magic.
When Professor Hinkle heard that, he wanted the hat back.
But it's not yours anymore, protested Karen.
This hat will make me a millionaire, said the greedy magician, taking the hat back. Hocus Pocus felt that the hat really did belong to Frosty, so he hopped back to Frosty and the children as fast as he could to return the magic hat. Happy birthday, said Frosty again as soon as the hat was placed on his head. Hey, I said my first words. I'm alive. What a neat thing to happen to a nice guy like me. The magic hat made Frosty dance around. The children cheered as Frosty began to laugh and play with them. There had never been such a wonderful winter's day. When the sun peeked out from behind the clouds, Frosty exclaimed, Oh, I'm all wishy-washy. I'm starting to melt. The children knew they needed to take Frosty someplace where he'd never melt, like the chilly North Pole. They decided to go to the railroad station and find a train for Frosty. Let's have a parade through town, shouted Frosty. Come on, kids, follow the leader. All too soon, it was time for the train and Frosty to leave.
I'll go with you, Frosty, said Karen. I'm sure I'll be back in time for supper.
Karen, Frosty, and Hocus Pocus jumped into a refrigerated boxcar on a freight train headed north. No one saw Professor Hinkle sneak under the train and hold on. A refrigerated boxcar is a splendid way to travel. Splendid, that is, if one is a snowman or a furry-coated rabbit. But for a little girl like Karen, it was just too cold. So, when the freight train made a stop, Frosty got them all out. No one saw Professor Hinkle jump off too. Frosty took Karen and Hocus Pocus to a wooded glen, where they found animals decorating the trees for their big celebration. They knew Santa Claus was coming that night. After Hocus Pocus spoke to the animals, they agreed to build a campfire to keep Karen warm. But it didn't take long for Professor Hinkle to catch up with the friends. "Get on my shoulders, Karen," cried Frosty. Frosty, since he was made of snow, was the fastest belly whopper in the world. Soon, he and Karen were sliding down a hill, leaving the greedy Professor Hinkle far behind. At the bottom of the hill was a tiny greenhouse for growing tropical poinsettias. It was the perfect place for Karen to stay warm. "Frosty, you'll melt in here," warned Karen. "I'll only stay inside for a minute," Frosty assured her. But that nasty Professor Hinkle caught up with them once again. He locked the door, trapping the friends inside. That night, Hocus Pocus led Santa Claus to the greenhouse to save Frosty. But by then, poor Frosty had melted completely. "Don't cry, Karen," said Santa kindly. "Frosty's not gone for good. You see, he was made out of Christmas snow. You can bet your boots that when a good, jolly Christmas wind kisses it, it'll turn into Christmas snow all over again. Just watch." Santa opened the door, and when the wind whirled in and out, Frosty was back. Santa was about to place the magic hat on Frosty's head when Professor Hinkle shouted, "I want that hat and I want it now!" Santa replied, "If you touch this hat, I'll never bring you another Christmas present. Go home right now and write, 'I am very sorry for what I did to Frosty 100 zillion times.' Then maybe, just maybe, you'll find something in your stocking tomorrow morning." Professor Hinkle was very sorry indeed. He ran straight home to start writing. "Happy birthday," said Frosty once more. Karen was happy to see her friend again, but now it was time to go home. Santa put Karen in his sleigh and promised her that he would take Frosty back to the North Pole with him. Karen hated to say goodbye to Frosty, but Santa said that Frosty could return every year with the magical Christmas snow. Frosty waved goodbye as he hurried on his way. He shouted a promise to return the following Christmas, and every year he did just that. Merry Christmas. The end. I hope you enjoyed that book as much as I did. I know that we were all looking forward to a time when we can be with our families and loved ones again. Before I go, I want to say thank you to all of our season's reading sponsors, and especially our Frosty sponsors, Callie and Nick Zabarenko, and of course our friends at the Indianapolis Public Library for making these stories possible. And I want to thank you for joining us, and I hope you tune in next week for a very special reading of 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, read by my very dear friend, Bill Simmons. And parents, please remember that Phoenix Theater programming like this is made possible with the support of people like you. So I hope that you support the Phoenix Theater at phoenixtheater.org. This is Arianne Villareal saying thank you, goodbye, and happy holidays.
there, Indianapolis. I didn't see you come in. What made you brave the cold and want to come out here to West Texas to visit your old friend, Carlos Medina Maldonado? Oh, well, as you can see, I'm starting to get ready for the holidays. And just because I decided to wear my Fairy Phoenix Xmas 12 sweater that I wore in the show. And I think about all those audiences and all of those castmates I had in that show and everyone that was involved, and I just think of such fond memories. And you know, we had a sketch in that show that was based off of this little story, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I think we should get into it, shall we? I'm going to assume you said yes. If not, this would be awkward. Christmas Town, also known as the North Pole, is the wonderful place where Santa Claus lives with Mrs. Claus, all the elves, and the flying reindeer that pull Santa's sleigh every Christmas Eve. Nowadays, Christmas Town is a happy place. The elves make their toys, the reindeer fly, but in the old days, everyone had to watch out for the abominable snow monster. He was big and furry and hated anything having to do with Christmas. And he liked to eat reindeer. Ooh. All that started to change when Santa's lead reindeer, Donner, became a papa. "We'll call him Rudolph," said Donner, looking at his new son. Suddenly, Donner and Mrs. Donner saw a bright light. "He's got a shiny red nose," said Donner in surprise. "I'd even say it glows." Santa came to see the new arrival, but then he saw Rudolph's nose. "Ho, ho, ho, ho! Let's hope this glowing stops if Rudolph wants to make the sleigh team," Santa said. "We can't have any shiny noses flying through the sky." So the Donners put a little cover on Rudolph's nose. Soon, it was time for the new fawns to go to the reindeer games. There they would be inspected by Santa, who would choose the best reindeer for his team. At first, Rudolph felt shy, but soon he met a doe named Clarice. "I think you're cute," she told Rudolph. The coach arrived to teach the fawns what they needed to know to be on Santa's team. "First, we'll learn to fly," he told them. "You have to get up enough speed and jump into the wind." Rudolph was so excited about his new friend that he took off with a great whoosh. He soared high over the heads of the reindeer and Santa, too. But as all the young reindeer continued to play, the cover popped off of Rudolph's nose. It glowed for all to see. At first, the other reindeer were frightened, but soon they began to laugh and call poor Rudolph names. "Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer," they jeered. And the coach said, "Go on home. From now on, you can't join on in any reindeer games." Only Clarice didn't laugh at Rudolph. It was nice. Poor Rudolph wandered off alone. Soon he met an elf who was hiding in the woods. "My name is Hermie," said the elf. "I want to be a dentist, but right now I'm just an elf who doesn't belong." "And I'm a red-nosed reindeer," sighed Rudolph. The pair decided to be friends and to run away together. They hadn't wandered far from when they heard the terrible roaring of the abominable snow monster. "It's my nose," said Rudolph. "The monster sees it and it's coming after us." Rudolph and Hermie were saved by Yukon Cornelius, the greatest prospector in the north. "Jump onto my sled," said Cornelius, "and we'll run like crazy." I'm doing my best Rob Johansson here. But no matter how fast they went, the monster stayed close behind. Finally, they were trapped at the water's edge. Cornelius chopped the ice with his axe, tink, 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 and his friends safely floated away. They floated all night and landed on a strange island, where they were greeted by a puppet that sprang from a box. "I'm the official sentry of the Island of Misfit Toys," said the puppet. "My name is Charlie, and that's why I'm a misfit toy. No child wants to play with a Charlie in the box." I think you guys would want to play with him, right? I would. "We want to travel with Santa Claus and his magic sleigh," said a misfit doll. Otherwise, we'll miss all the fun with the boys and girls when Christmas Day arrives. The friends met an elephant with polka dots, a choo-choo train with square wheels, a water pistol that shot jelly, a bird that swam, a cowboy riding an ostrich, and a boat that couldn't float.
We're misfits too, said Rudolph. Maybe we could stay here with you.
But the king of the island would let them stay for only one night. This island is for toys alone, he said. A living creature cannot hide here, but you can help us. When you return to Christmas Town, tell Santa about all these homeless toys. I'm sure he can find girls and boys who would be happy with them. A toy is never happy till it's loved by a child. Absolutely true, King. Absolutely. Go off. That night, while Hermie and Cornelius slept, Rudolph lay awake.
My nose will only bring my friends more danger, he said. I must go off on my own.
But as he wandered alone into the snow, Rudolph realized that he couldn't run away from his troubles. Rudolph returned to the mainland and headed for Christmas Town. But first, he had to pass the cave of the abominable snow monster. As he did, Rudolph heard voices crying, "Help! Help!" Rudolph rushed inside. There were Rudolph's parents and Clarice. Oh no! They had been searching for Rudolph and had been caught by the monster, who was about to devour Clarice.
Put her down,
Rudolph cried, butting the surprise monster with his little antlers. Just then, Hermie and Cornelius pulled up outside the cave. They had followed Rudolph's trail and knew he needed help. An abominable snow monster will never pass up on a pork dinner, said Cornelius. Hermie, you sit outside the cave and blink like a pig. When the monster comes, watch out! Hermie approached the mouth of the cave.
Oink, oink,
he called. The monster dropped Clarice and rushed outside. At that very moment, Cornelius pushed a giant snowball down on the top of him. Splat! Working quickly while the monster was stunned, Hermie used his dentist tool to remove the monster's teeth. What was he going to eat? Back in Christmas Town, Rudolph told how he and his friends had defeated the abominable snow monster. Everyone realized that misfits have their place too. Rudolph told Santa about their misfit toys. As soon as the storm lets up, I'll find homes for them. Ho 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 ho, Santa promised. Then, the weather elf handed Santa his report. Santa gasped. The storm won't subside by tonight. I won't be able to see or fly my sleigh. Suddenly, a flash of light caught Santa's eye. Bing. Rudolph, he said, what a beautiful, wonderful nose. Won't you guide my sleigh tonight?
I'd be honored to,
said Rudolph, putting on his jingle bells. Okay, Rudolph, said Santa. First stop is the island of misfit toys. Up, up and away! And with Rudolph leading the way, Santa soon found loving homes for all those lonely toys. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, everyone sang. You'll go down in history. That was good. And he did. Well, I don't know about y'all, but now I'm really feeling like I'm in the Christmas mood. And I just want to say thank you for letting me be a part of your holiday season. I remember when I was a kid trying to make my own Frosty the Snowman and seeing if it would come alive. So I wish you all a happy holidays, and I look forward to seeing you all soon.